Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dana Buckler Show. I'm joined in studio, as always, with my co-host, Mr. Bill Searcy. Bill, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Good morning, sir.
Good
nice
morning
to see you again.
Good to see you as well. So, well, we're back doing the video again.
We are.
Yeah,
this is cool.
This is going to be a regular mainstay of the podcast.
And I appreciate some of the feedback we got already on the first one.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
If you are listening to this in audio format, there's a link in this episode show notes where you can one-click right to our YouTube page where we'd ask you to subscribe and check out what we're doing. We're just getting started, so this is a lot of fun. We are going to be talking about
The Running Man.
The Running Man, the new one, 2025.
I feel like I'm still running.
Yeah, listen, we saw it yesterday.
He never stopped running.
Let me ask you this. We're going to be spoiler-free for a little while here.
I'll do my best.
But let me ask you this. What'd you think of The Running Man?
Yeah, I liked it. It was fun. It was actually an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
Like an R-rated action movie.
Don't get those very often in the theater.
With language and MFers. And I enjoyed that it was an R movie. I enjoyed that it was a good action movie. It had enough of the original in it. And you kind of coached me a little bit on the book. That is, the book that Stephen King wrote. So I'm excited to hear more from you on that. But I really enjoyed the movie, and I would see it again, and I would recommend it.
And we'll talk a little bit more about the film. But I guess, I've mentioned numerous times throughout the history of this podcast, especially in the past 10 years or so, that, all we get in the theater is sequels, prequels, remakes. And listen, let's be honest. This is technically a remake. However, I will make a case here in a little bit that it's almost not a remake.
It is very little similar to the first one.
Let's talk about that first one. Let's talk about that first one. Yeah. The original Running Man movie came out in 1987. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Richard Dawson, Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yes, that's
Jim Brown is in that movie.
Yeah, a lot of famous cameos in this thing.
I'm 9 years old when that movie comes out. All right, I probably see it when I'm 10 the following year when it comes out on
so I guess
video.
I'm 12 or 13 or whatever.
Listen, it's the best. I mean,
it was awesome.
This is peak Arnold 1980s.
Yeah, he's on a run there, right?
The same year.
Is it Total Recall time?
No, the same year that The Running Man comes out, we also get Predator in the same year. I mean...
And ironically, Predator's out again. Another Predator.
There's another Predator that just came out. Yeah. And interestingly, Jesse Ventura is in both The Running Man and Predator.
He is.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I really like the original Running Man. We watched it last night. After we got home, Jess and I, we put the Running Man on.
Yeah, it was on in the lobby here, walking into the studio. I saw it on the lobby. Had it on when I got here.
Absolutely. So I'm a big fan of that movie. What's interesting is I did read the book in the early 90s. So this was based off of a book written by Stephen King, a novel. He wrote it under a pseudonym, Richard Bachman. Mm-hmm. And really, the movie, the 87 movie, the only thing it really shares in common with the book is the title and the names of the characters.
And
besides that,
even
like a game show, but let's be real. Like it is nothing like that.
It isn't. You're getting a whole new movie out of this one for sure.
So with the 2025 Running Man, we go into that movie, and just from the trailers, I'm saying to myself, this seems like more of a true adaptation of the book,
right?
Which,
what do you think? Was it?
It was very
a lot spot on. You made a lot of comments like.
I remember reading the book and saying to myself, well, there's things that happen in the book that if they happen in the movie, then this is a real adaptation. I think I talked to you before we went into the movie theater, before we went into the auditorium. And I said, what's interesting in the book is, he can go anywhere he wants. He gets a 12-hour head start, but he has to kind of prove where he is.
All these checkpoints.
He's got every day he's got to mail in a video of himself, and that's in the book. So I said, well, I don't know how they're going to handle that.
So
in the movie,
spoiler.
Yeah, I guess
there's one way that he mails it. Yeah, how does he mail it in the book?
Exact same way. Exact same way. It's kind of like
drone or
well, there wasn't drones, but there were these mailboxes. So there was a 3-day delay between when he would mail in the tape and they would receive it at the studio. That's in the book.
And then you said in the book too, is in the 81, what'd you say?
It came out in 82.
82. But he wrote it, Stephen King wrote it, that it was happening in
2025.
Wow, that's right now. So did they choose this movie to come out now? Because that'd be interesting.
I know they had been kind of kicking around the idea of doing this movie for a little while, but I think it's just a great coincidence that
that's pretty cool.
The book is set in 2025 and the movie came out in 2025. For those that haven't seen the new Running Man, we'll do mild spoilers, but basically you have Glen Powell. He plays a character named Ben Richards, and it's a world in which, there's the haves and have-nots, and there's no middle class. You're either an elite or you're living in something known as Co-op City.
And
which is,
and we found that out. We found that out. Again, spoiler. I got to be careful here, but anyway, there comes a point where you're like,
we'll say mild spoilers.
Okay, right.
Mild spoilers for the movie. So he lives in this area called the Co-op, which is essentially kind of like housing projects.
Sure.
Government subsidized apartments, things like that. And we open up with him talking to a former supervisor at a job he worked, trying to get his job back. He's got a wife and a kid, and his kid is really sick, and they don't have any money, and he just needs to make a couple bucks just to get some medicine.
Yeah, he's trying to get his old job back.
Yeah, he's trying to get his old job, but apparently he has a pattern of insubordination. But we find out that
angry man.
The insubordination is him literally like saving people that are about to have these catastrophic accidents on the job. There is a television network which is controlled by the government that does these sadistic game shows. We have this one scene where you got a guy on a giant hamster wheel treadmill, and it's a trivia game.
Yeah,
and every time you get a question correct, you win like $100. And by the way, those $100 bills have who on them? Arnold.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a nice little touch.
New dollars there.
New dollars. Yeah,
new dollars.
And so you have this guy on a treadmill, and he's purposely supposed to be overweight. They talk about having an overweight person on a treadmill, and they ask you a trivia question, and if you get the question correct, you get $100.
Right.
If you get the question wrong,
they speeds the wheel up.
And
they're measuring the guy's heart rate.
And they're measuring the heart rate. And that just ends, catastrophically for the guy.
Yeah.
So Ben Richards, he's out of options.
Yeah, and you see him kind of taking notes of how much he could make on any of these
all
shows.
These different sadistic game shows.
They're just baiting these poor people into just getting on these TV shows.
So his wife is working at some type of club or something like that. She's barely making any money. And so he says, I'm going to go down to the network and I'm going to try out for one of these games. And she's like, just don't do the Running Man. Because the Running Man's like the most famous one.
But it's the most dangerous.
It's the one where no one survives.
Right. No one's ever survived.
All right, let's talk about the difference between the Running Man in the game show in the 87 film and in the new movie.
Yeah, because the old one, it was all in-house, and it was kind of like American Gladiators type.
Exactly.
It felt, to me, it was like American Gladiators.
You have a 400-acre quadrant.
Right.
That you have 3 hours to survive. They have stalkers coming after you.
Tunnels. Was it? I don't remember. Was there a city in there?
Well, they reference it to it. Well, there was a catastrophic earthquake that had decimated part of the city, and that is now the grounds where they do the Running Man.
Got it.
And Arnold, has to survive against stalkers. Sub-Zero, Fireball, Dynamo, Buzzsaw.
That's
Captain
where the
Freedom.
American Gladiator thing hits for me, because they all had nicknames.
In the 80s, American Gladiators
was a huge show, too.
Incredibly popular.
Huge show. I watched a lot of it. And I there's a little connection to this, right? Like but it's still loose. It's still a loose connection, because they're not like in this park. And it's day by day, right? It's not just like this time period.
So in the book and in this new 2025 movie, if you get selected for the Running Man, when you go through this incredibly vigorous series of tests,
right?
Physical, mental aptitude, all of this stuff. And if you get selected, you're given a 12-hour head start, and you have to survive for 30 days. And you can go anywhere, but you just have to mail them proof that you're still alive.
How did Arnold get selected in the first one? How did that? I don't remember that. I actually didn't rewatch the old one.
Okay, so in we'll call it the OG Running Man. The OG Running Man. The Running Man game show is the most popular television show in history. And what they do is they take criminals, and they put them in this game. And if they win, they get a pardon and they get their life back and all that stuff. So the idea is that these are detestable human beings that you put in there. Now, Arnold, at the beginning of the OG Running Man, he is working for the government. He's flying a helicopter, and they're flying a chopper. They're flying a chopper. They go over Bakersfield, California, and there's a food riot in progress. Approximately 1,500 civilians, no weapons present. And he gets orders through his radio. Richards, proceed, eliminate anything that moves. He says, the hell with you. I won't fire on innocent people. The whole nine. So he gets framed, and then he gets thrown in prison. And they call him the Butcher of Bakersfield because whoever else was in the helicopter followed those orders and just murdered everyone.
All right, I remember about now.
So he escapes prison, gets caught. Richard Dawson plays Damon Killian, who's sort of like the
show host. Is he the show host?
He's the game show host in the movie.
Did he kiss everyone like on the cheek?
Well, there's a fun little reference in the OG Running Man where
Family Feud connection,
where he's talking to a lady in the crowd who's like the #1 fan. She's a little old lady. He's all right, want to kiss, but no tongues. No,
that is funny.
But the problem with the OG Running Man is not the problem with the movie, but the issue that Damon's having is that ratings have they've plateaued. It's still the most popular show ever, but people are starting to lose interest, so they have to get somebody really serious in there. So Damon works out this deal to get Arnold, who's been captured, to put him on the Running Man because they've never had somebody like him. And then
he's equal or better than all the What were they called then?
Stalkers. They were called stalkers.
So he's equal or better than those stalkers.
Yeah. And in the movie, he gets offered an opportunity to become a stalker. He's that good. He's killed multiple stalkers.
So very kind of whatever.
So that's that movie. And obviously Arnold prevails and, all as well.
My other take I want to say before we move on is that Total Recall and The Running Man maybe are a couple of years apart. They're not very far
apart. They're 3 years apart.
Right. But as a younger kid, my dad, we would go see all these movies. I always connected them together, at least for a while.
3 of the movies I connect together.
This is kind of like sci-fi action.
I connect together The Running Man, Total Recall, and RoboCop. I feel like they're all...
They are, because they use kind of propaganda, military, government, action, sci-fi. I agree. Totally agree.
Absolutely.
Great.
So
all 3 great movies.
Now, interestingly, RoboCop and Total Recall, directed by Paul Verhoeven. Same director.
But same feel.
Same feel.
Cool.
So, but in the 2025 Running Man, you volunteer to do this. You volunteer to participate in the game, and you have 30 days to survive. And you can go anywhere you want, but you just have to prove that you're still alive.
Right.
So this is why you can't just like hold up in someone's apartment for 30 days and be well hidden. You have to. You can go anywhere you want, but you have to mail proof that you're alive. Now, without getting into spoilers.
Yeah, I know. That's right. I don't know where I can go here.
Ben Richards, Glen Powell in this movie, he gets selected to the Running Man. And by the way, first prize, $1 billion.
$1 billion with a B.
And you also get $1,000 for every day that you survive. You also get $1,000 if any of the hunters, not stalkers, they're called hunters, who are like a professional assassin team that are sent out to look for you. If you kill one of them, you get a bonus $1,000.
And they kept running that total.
And that money, for him, that money gets automatically deposited to his wife. Like he said, I want all this money to go to my wife.
Well, you would expect. I don't know if, that was happening or not, but...
So the other thing is regular civilians, if you spot Ben Richards out there, you can report him and you can win money.
Right. Because they're all watching. Everyone's watching.
Everybody's watching.
Everyone's watching. They're all chasing him. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people are chasing him.
The movie definitely dives into, propaganda, government manipulation, because there
felt that
you without getting into spoilers, you get into scenes where, he'll send in a video, basically, blasting the network. How dare you do this and blah, blah, blah. And then they completely change it. And you ask yourself, well, how could you do that? Well, we live in a world where AI can simply do that. No problem.
Easy.
So it was all very, very believable.
Yes.
So I just want to say, because, you said you liked it.
Yeah, I did. I liked it a lot. I would watch it again.
I love the movie.
Oh, good. Yeah, cool. You did.
I liked it because it was, my God, such a faithful adaptation of the book. And I looked it up. Stephen King, not a fan of the OG Running Man.
That's my next question.
not a fan of the OG Running Man. Said he loved this new one. He said it was fantastic.
Cool. Okay.
Because it's so correct. It's so spot on.
In the credits, I saw his name twice. The first one, because they obviously put his name in there because he wrote the book. But I saw his name and I don't know what it said above it. And then it said, based on a story by Stephen King.
Yeah.
But I saw his name twice in the beginning. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Especially the guy that actually wrote the story.
Yeah.
And he didn't have anything to do with the project, I guess.
No, not at that point.
Cool.
No. So
that's good.
But, and so we have to also talk about the movie was directed by Edgar Wright. Now, Edgar Wright, for me, is somebody that I have been paying attention to since 2004. We're talking about movies like Shaun of the Dead. We have, he's done everything. The World's End. He's Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Baby Driver. He's made some really... He's
like kind of slight comedy action.
But he does a really fantastic job. Like, he's a really slick director.
Yep.
And that's my chief complaint with the movie. When you watch a movie like Baby Driver, or you watch a movie like Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, there's a style, an editing style to his movies that I think is missing in this movie. I was actually a little bit surprised. And Edgar Wright was one of the big selling points for me wanting to see the movie. Now my big selling point is this is a really faithful adaptation of the book.
Right.
But it's very conventional in its directing style. Mm-hmm. Very conventional, more so than I think I was surprised by that. That's not to say it's a bad movie, but I think I was expecting it to be a little bit more frenetic, a little bit more chaotic in a good way.
Right.
And it was lacking that.
Sure. No, it was. I can see that. I could see that.
So, but we should also, I want to get into some spoiler conversations real quick. Okay. Cool. So if you haven't seen the movie, it's out in theaters now. If you don't care, then we're going to get into some spoilers. I
don't think it would ruin the movie.
No, but it's, it needs
some people maybe don't want to hear stuff, but I don't think if we say anything, I think you could still watch this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And enjoy it.
So I want to talk about the way the book ends versus the way the movie ends. Right. And again, massive spoilers for the running.
Just go right to the end, Dana. Go right to the bow.
Right to the end, because this is the part that had me stressed out watching the movie.
Yeah.
Because I know how the book ends, and it would be very sensitive even today. And I'll just explain.
Well, when it was happening, I was thinking it. It was in my head, but I didn't want to read the book or listen to the book. But what you're going to say, I was thinking it.
So in the book, and by the way, everything that happens, like him going to Maine, escaping that house, getting in the car with the girl where she becomes like a hostage and all that stuff, that is all in the book.
Okay. They
make it to the Derry airport, which again, Derry, Maine, Stephen King universe. In the book, he's there with the number one hunter. He pretends to have a bomb on him, and they hijack an airplane.
The whole I don't know, that didn't sell me. This was a bomb, but whatever.
But well, they allude to that this particular bomb, just a couple grams can blow up, and he's got a pound or he's got 300, he's got a kilogram.
BFG.
Yeah, BFG, big fucking explosive. BFE.
Big fucking explosive.
Big fucking explosive. So in the book, he hijacks the airplane.
That was a sick plane too, by the way. It was like this,
that is not how it is in the book.
Stealth bomber with like X-Men blue.
6 toilets. Don't forget.
And he hit all 6 of them.
6 toilets.
But it was a badass job. Sorry.
And they get up in the air, and Killian, who in the book is not the host, he's the executive producer of the show. Bobby T is the host.
Love that guy.
In the book and in the new movie.
Okay. I like that guy.
So Killian is, because the people have started.
Killian's Brolin.
Killian is Josh Brolin in the movie.
Okay.
And in the book and in this movie, the people are starting to cheer for Richards because he's made it longer than most people have.
And I think, too, my take there is that they know a lot of this is fake news. Like, the reality is that he's living. Like, I don't think they're believing some of the crap that they put on there. That's where I think the fake news propaganda.
Because it's alluded to that there's like an underground network of people that are putting the real news out to let people know, hey, this is all bullshit. What the government in this movie is telling you, it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
So in the book, he gets in the airplane, and Killian gets through to him and says, I want to offer you an opportunity to become a hunter.
Right.
And he finds out, again, major spoilers.
Okay, here we go.
That his wife and child have been killed. They were killed in the book. They're killed by just some intruders. So broke into their house, and they live in the slums, and they've been dead for 10 days. And when Richards finds out about that, he just kind of loses all hope, and he ends up fighting the hunter. The
main hunter.
He ends up getting shot. He ends up getting mortally wounded by the hunter before he kills the hunter. He gets that girl to jump out of the plane with a parachute.
Okay.
And then
that was funny.
He programs the autopilot of the plane to fly into the skyscraper where Killian is. Killian's like on the top floor.
The penthouse.
Yeah. And the book ends with Killian looking out the window and seeing, the plane
hit the building. Yeah.
Now, that is not how it ends in the movie.
No, it doesn't.
For obvious reasons.
Visually, probably we don't need to.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone that's our age or understands why you can't end a movie flying a jetliner into a skyscraper.
No, it would just look weird. And I was thinking it. I'm like, oh man.
And so I'm wondering if they're going to do this in the movie.
You mean yesterday?
Yeah,
you were thinking it. Yeah, me too.
Because so far, everything that's happened in this movie has happened exactly like it happens in the book. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying to myself, oh boy, how are you going to handle this?
I think they made a good decision.
So instead, what they do is in the movie, they can remote pilot the plane. So they're going to remote pilot the plane, and they're going to make it look like he's coming at the building, but then they're going to shoot the plane down and thus kill Richards. That's an interesting choice they made. And then the movie leaves you, it's a little bit ambiguous, but apparently Ben Richards survived, and then he ends up killing Killian, and that is not how it ends in the book.
Got it.
And
so
the book ends with Killian literally looking out the window going, shit.
Yeah, didn't you say, oh shit,
or
whatever?
And then it's over.
Done.
It's over. So it's an interesting choice. Interesting choice how they ended the movie.
I think it finishes well.
I think they kind of had to.
Yeah.
I think they kind of had it ended that way.
I think it finishes fine.
What do you think about Glen Powell in this movie? He's doing a little bit different performance than he does in some of his other movies. Very angry performance.
Yeah, he is. So at the beginning, he's trying to be angry. He's acting angry, and I'm just not like buying it right away because he kind of comes across.
Well said. I wasn't buying into it either. No. I just want to point out I was not buying.
I was not buying it.
This is an interesting choice that he's making.
Yeah, it's not just him as acting, or it's just me thinking what this guy is in his face. You see his face, and even though he was kind of a bad guy protagonist or whatever the term is in Maverick.
Yeah.
He was kind of...
He was very cocky, though.
Cocky, right.
Very cocky.
Now so I wasn't buying it right away. But as it went on, I bought into it. But then it turns into desperation. So I bought that more.
Right.
The angriness, it kind of was funny to me because he was over the top angry.
He was so angry.
When they were doing that interview, it was hilarious. I started dying. One of those, when a psychiatrist or a psychologist shows you a picture.
She's like, you're the angriest person I've ever met.
So that kind of made me laugh. I didn't really buy the angriness out of him just because, he just doesn't look angry.
Doesn't come across that way.
He doesn't come across.
So, But
I bought into his character as it went on.
You settle into it.
He did.
You settle into it.
He did. So, and they had to put him in a towel, of course.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get into that later.
Absolutely.
But I think he did a good job.
All right. Perfect. Yeah. So overall, this was a good recommendation.
It was fun watch. I like kind of action on the run movies. That's exactly what this is. And it ties in an old book. It ties in an old movie. There's a lot going on. I enjoyed it.
We're recording this on the Monday after it came out. And the box office for this movie, as of this recording, only $18 million in the U.S.
It's it's just the movie. It's just
it's the industry.
It's a hard business to be in right now.
And
because I like it.
But you have to ask yourself, and this goes back to the I have this question, who's the audience for this movie, our age and up.
Yes.
Okay. So you're in your 50s.
51.
51.
Yeah.
I'm 47. Most of the people in our age group and older, they don't go to the movies anymore.
Well, that's the problem. I think it deserves a higher number. Just people don't go to the movie. So,
but the younger generation has no reference to what the Running Man is. Case in point, I was at the job the other day talking to some of the 20-year-olds. I said, "What do you think of the Running Man?" Never heard of it.
right.
I'm like, "Do you know who Arnold Schwarzenegger is?" I've heard that name before.
Yeah, they just heard the name. They don't even know what he looks like, probably.
So it's just tough. It's tough. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like this is just going to continuously happen over and over again. And I recommend this movie.
The dollar amount doesn't
Correlate
equal,
with it's.
Well, think of it. Back in the day, you just went to movies, right? So every weekend, most people would just look in the newspaper, or go to the theater, pick, and you're already going. You're going. You're going
there.
At least once a week,
you
probably.
Would sometimes show up to the movie theater not knowing what you were going to see.
I did that multiple
you
times.
Just look at the marquee. What's playing? What time? All right. Well, that's
my famous story of My Left Foot.
Yeah.
We thought it was a comedy.
Yeah,
because we just went up there and went, "Oh, My Left Foot. That's going to be funny."
It's got to be a laugh riot. My Left Foot.
And it's
just remind everybody real quick. This is a little fun bonus for those who haven't known. How old were you again?
like 12.
All right, you're with your friends.
Yes, and like 6 of us.
And you decide you're going to the movies. You don't know what you're going to see.
We're in Countryside, Clearwater, Florida area. We're at the UA Theater.
Right.
And we go up and we just go to a matinee on a Saturday. And it's like, let's just say noon or 1 o'clock. And we look at the 8 or 12 movies and we go, well, that time works. And My Left Foot, that's got to be funny.
That's got to be funny.
And it's,
how far, remind me, how far into the movie were you before you realized?
45 seconds. It opens up. It's a true story about a guy that does everything
He's
with
got cerebral palsy. He only has control of his left foot.
And it opens up. He's putting a record on a record player with his left foot. And we're going, this still is a joke. Like it's still like,
right.
And then we finally realize that no, the whole movie is just going to be doing stuff with his left foot.
And it's an extraordinary film.
Yeah, I think it won awards. It's only one Academy Award. Isn't it Daniel Day-Lewis? Right.
It's an extraordinary movie, but I think that speaks to back in the day. We would just
go. There's no internet. There's nothing. We just don't know. We just saw the thing. We ended up seeing Joe versus the Volcano that day.
Yeah.
Which still was over our heads even at the time. But anyway, that just shows you how much we've come to now.
Yeah, we have all the information in the world now. We know exactly what the film is. But let's be honest. When we saw the movie, there was 3 of us in our group. There was 2 people there, 1 person there, and this was like an IMAX style theater,
XL giant. But it was a really early morning time because we needed to squeeze it in.
11 a.m.
Yeah,
but
on
still,
a Sunday.
It's still though.
It's still not that many people. Where you think at least back in the day it'd be half full on a Sunday morning.
Yeah,
and then maybe the afternoon it'd be packed, and it's just not packed. It's a little sad.
It's kind of sad. So, all right, well, Bill, before we wrap up, I want to bring Jess in. Jess did see the movie real quick, so let's go ahead and grab her real quick.
Okay. Hi.
Hey, Jess, welcome to the Dana Buckler Show. How are you?
I am real good.
Excellent, perfect. So, Bill and I were just talking about The Running Man. You did go to the theater with us, and you did see it. So
the third wheel.
So, Jess, what's your relationship with the OG Running Man?
Well, I am from that generation. I'm 51. I'm not your typical average female. I love the Rambo movies, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, anything that's kickboxing and violent and all that kind of stuff. That's my jam. I love it. Every day over the summer, that's what I would put on. VCRs, put in that VHS tape, and I would play The Running Man over and over and over again. So when I heard that they're going to make a new one, which I hate remakes, I hate them. But I thought, because there's hardly any movies that come out anymore that have that, Yeah. I keep waiting for another Viking movie to come out or one of those those soccer movies. I keep waiting for that. And then when I heard one of my favorite movies as a child was coming back out, I thought to myself, well, who the hell are they going to get to be as good as Arnold Schwarzenegger? Who? I remember you brought it up to me and you told me that the new Running Man's coming out. And I asked you that question. Who are they going to get to play?
Like Glen Powell.
Well, so we started talking about it and I really couldn't come up with a whole lot of people. But when I heard Glen Powell, it's like, okay, Glen Powell. I love the guy.
Interesting choice. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so I was wondering, I wonder how Glen Powell feels about following Arnold Schwarzenegger's lead,
Right.
So so I looked it up and stuff. And when Glen Powell, I guess they went back to the Expendables or something where,
Expendables.
Expendables.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that Glen Powell had a role in the Expendables.
Yeah.
And, but when he found out that he was going to play this, it was so surreal for him. And he had a conversation with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Arnold Schwarzenegger told him, stick to the romantic comedies. Don't do any of the action movies. They're painful. They're bloody. That, it'll take a toll on your body. Don't do it. He advised.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So Glen Powell said everything that Arnold gave him the advice for, everything, he took it all except for that. He didn't stick with the romantic comedies. And when Arnold watched the movie for the first time, he said, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
But the first thing he said before that was, he looked at Glen Powell and he said, you're hurting right now, aren't you? Because, you never think about that.
You don't know, but it's a really physical. I mean, it has to be. Yeah. Well said. So what did you think of this movie? Now that
Yeah.
we've established that you're obviously a huge fan of the original. So what did you think of this film?
So I already had my guard up a bit because I was expecting it to not be good.
Right.
So we sit there, we're starting to watch it, and it started out being something that I didn't buy into right away. I forgot that it was taking place in the future. I forgot about that. So you see outside, it looks like the whole place, the city's a nuclear war zone. Everyone's hungry. They're burning fire in barrels to keep warm. And then you've got Glen Powell and you've got Sheila Richards, played by Jamie Lawson, his wife. And they have a sick baby. And the first thing you think of is, why don't you just go up to the store and get some medicine for the baby? Or why can't you just go to the doctor? So then you had to remember that you had to see as the movie went on that they don't have the opportunity to do that. And then I saw that, Ben Richards was wearing a Carhartt jacket and a sweatshirt hoodie, and he looked like he was from modern day. And then his wife, she was wearing this outfit, this dress looked like she just went up to Nordstrom Rack and grabbed it, and it was prim and proper, and it was just beautiful and sexy. And she was supposed to be there making some side money because, Ben Richards was out of a job. And I thought, where is she going? If you look outside, everything's on fire. People are robbing each other. Where is she going dressed like that? So I didn't buy into it. And then it hit me. I remember looking over at you going, this sucks.
Yeah.
And you said, really? You're surprised and shocked. Well, then as I watched, I went, oh, you stupid. It takes place in the future. Then I got to thinking, okay, but I didn't like the wardrobe choices.
Right.
They could have done better. I think they could have made that a little more believable. As far as the movie goes, okay, I had to think, okay, so you had Richard Dawson. He was the asshole game show host. And this one, you've got Josh Brolin wasn't the game show host, but you've got Bobby T. Johnson, played by Colman Domingo.
That's
Have
right.
you ever heard
Yeah.
of him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't recall him. I looked him up.
Yeah, no, he's good.
He was
good.
amazing in this movie. He brought a lot of I laughed a lot. I thought he's really having fun with his character and his role, which I thought was great. Well, Richard Dawson, we came from Family Feud, and I thought Bill was asking, he was called the Kissing Cousins. So they called Richard Dawson the Kissing Cousins, it's because Richard Dawson would kiss everyone, and even his cousin, my grandpa used to say, he'd kiss everyone, even his cousin. So they called him the Kissing Cousin. But Richard Dawson, he played that character really, really well.
Yeah.
But then they bring in Josh Brolin and they bring in Colman Domingo, and they kind of like merge them together to kind of make it like there's two game show hosts. I thought that was pretty slick.
But in the book, this is again, and I was like I was saying with Bill, in the book, in the novel that this is all based off, Bobby T and Killian are two separate characters, and in the '87 Running Man, Damon Killian is kind of an amalgamation of both of those. He's also the producer and the host.
Well, the problem is I didn't read the book.
Right.
Okay.
No.
So I needed to read the book.
Your reference point was the '87 movie.
Yes. I didn't realize until I saw they're making a new Running Man that it was written by Stephen King, which makes a lot of sense. I loved how they tied in Stephen King with this whole thing, like the Dairy Maine, and doesn't Stephen King always tie something about his personal life into?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen King's a genius.
Yeah, perfect.
And I understand now that Stephen King was very happy with this new one, and he hated the old one.
He was not a fan of the original. He called this new one fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and really what was really, really interesting about it is once you told me about the book and then how Stephen King, it was crazy how he was able to write this back in, what was it, 87? 82. And all the events that took place and happened in there, and they tied into today.
It feels very relevant. Very relevant.
Do you think that he went and rewrote any of the?
No.
So he was just dead on.
Because I've read the book a couple times, and the movie is a complete faithful adaptation of the book. You don't have to change anything. That's literally how it was written in 1982, 43 years ago.
Well, going back to the original Running Man.
Yeah.
One of the things that scared me the most were the stalkers.
Yes.
And you've got Dynamo, Sub-Zero, you've got Fireball, you got Buzzsaw.
And don't forget Captain Freedom.
Oh gosh, Jesse Ventura. Okay, so then Captain Freedom, and then they kind of brought in the Lee Pace. He played Evan McCone. He was the
and they're called
the
hunters.
Yeah, he was the hunter. They only had one.
No, he was the lead hunter.
Yeah, but what were the other ones?
The hunters were a group that they worked for the network.
I preferred the first Running Man, the stalkers. They were scary. They scared me at night. They kept me awake at night.
They all had their own gimmick.
They made me laugh because it thought, Sub-Zero trying to, do we say the R word? Maria Conchita Alonso, that guy was so fat, he couldn't screw anything.
Was Dynamo that was
Dynamo.
Trying to, yeah.
He was the opera singer.
Yep.
Well, and I preferred it that way. However, Lee Pace playing Evan McCone, he was scary.
He was.
I loved how they did that.
We've already gotten into spoilers. Turns out he was a contestant on The Running Man, and he made it 29 days.
Brilliant. That
Longer
did
than
get
anyone
me.
else.
Normally, I figure things out. I didn't figure that out.
I didn't either.
And and I saw the comparison. So there's a comparison between Kathy O'Brien, who played, and then Amelia Williams. Those are the two females. The female Running Man contestant to Maria Conchita Alonso, and then Amelia. So they kind of used both of them to kind of relate to Maria Conchita to bring that in.
Yep.
And then of course Lee Pace and Jesse Ventura. Jesse Ventura was humiliated a lot by Richard Dawson on the first one, and then because he would start to talk and then he'd get cut off. And
he'd be like, I remember once, and be like, hey, Cap, I'm sorry, we're going to have to cut you off there.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh.
So I liked how they tied in the character, kind of try to keep it relevant. And, so I like that. But what did you think of Elton Parakis? He was the Michael Cera when they went to Derry. And it was the mother had the crazy mom.
Yeah, I thought that was all brilliant.
I know.
Yeah.
I liked his character.
And he was, in the movie, his father was a police officer who refused to do something serious and then got, ended up getting killed.
Yeah.
And it is, so he had his motivations. So.
Okay. But other than that, I loved it. I love the movie. I thought it was great, but there's one thing I want you to tell everyone. to bring up the Mick Fleetwood thing. I think it's still incredible.
Oh, okay. So I brought to your attention when we were watching the OG Running Man last night, I said, Mick Fleetwood is in this movie. And do you know who he plays in the movie?
Go ahead, because I didn't.
He plays himself in the movie.
Yeah.
So he plays Mick Fleetwood. The movie comes out in 87, 30 years later. And if you don't pay attention, you'll miss it. Then when he's talking to Ben Richards, and he goes, "You're the cop that put all my friends away. You're the cop that burned my music." So he's literally Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac playing himself set in the future in this dystopian world where all music, books, and all this stuff are completely censored. It's brilliant.
Perhaps he should go his own way.
That's pretty good.
Thank you for having me on this show.
Yeah,
I loved it. I love the movie.
Yeah.
I recommend it. I want to tell everyone to go out there to go watch it.
Outstanding.
I would absolutely go again.
Yes.
And
love it.
I'm excited. I'm excited. There's finally something out there.
Jess, perfect. Thank you. Now, your podcast is called Cut and Loose Chronicles. It's available wherever podcasts can be found.
Yep.
So there's going to be a link in this video and this podcast episode so people can check it out.
And
awesome.
follow my YouTube.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right, Jess, thank you so much. All right, so Bill, that was pretty good.
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah, it was
so
good,
much fun.
Good time. So this is I mean, let's just see. We've got some stuff. We got some other stuff that we're recording. All right, we got an end of the year show coming up and all this stuff. We did it. We did an episode on Reality Bites that'll be out.
I can't wait for that.
But this is going to kind of be it for us for probably the end of the year. We're about to roll into December.
Welcome to the holiday season,
which is this crazy busy time for all parties involved. So anyway, listen, Bill, thank you, my friend.
It's great to be here and look forward to what we got next.
Absolutely.
Can't wait.
This was our conversation about the 2025 Running Man that we both recommend. So until next time, everybody, thank you.